exciting world of sport on Dominion Television, your channel of choice where we talk all things sport, from the local stories to basketball, to football, to the world of transfer. We have the PFA on the menu this wonderful morning. And once again, you're welcome to Dominion Sport. I am Abe Paul Toluwanimi, and I have the delectable, the man with unbiased analysis, the captain himself, Samson Balogun. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you, Tolu. It's really nice to be here to talk sports. As we do, we bring you unbiased analysis and, of course, undiluted report. Thank you for joining us on the show this wonderful morning. Of course, sit back, relax. There's a lot to talk about in the world of sports.
A lot. Trust me, a lot to talk about in the world of sports this wonderful morning. Also, I have the lady that talks sport, sweet talking that world of sport, and I'm sure she's ready to also give us a top-notch analysis this morning. Good morning to you, Fola.
Good morning to you. Sweet talking.
Sweet talking,
yeah,
yes.
Sweet talking.
All right, yes, you know how we did on the show this morning. We're going to start off from the local front. We're Shooting Stars and the captain are not having a good time. I remember captain speaking about it yesterday, saying, it's going to take it from two ways, from professional angle, saying if you're doing a parade, I'm sure you should be doing a parade with victories, with the trophy. But another side saying, maybe a wake-up call to see how we can get the fans back in action for the season to come. You had the pictures on the screen, and we saw the massive pullout from Shooting Stars trying to wake up everybody. Also, the new chairman of the board, in action, also taking charge of that rally. How do you see this one, and how did it go yesterday, and what do you think this will be a pull again for Shooting Stars come this season?
Well, what I saw yesterday was totally different from what I was expecting, and I think they did a little bit better than what I was actually expecting.
Yeah, you remember, I think they watched the clip because you said, don't give us the trailer that Kwara United.
Right, I mentioned that, and of course, it happened. We saw the fact that some of these things were done. Some of the key players in the in active football were actually there to say, look, we want to support Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan. And then one thing that they were able to do successfully yesterday was the fact that so many I want to call Shooting Stars fans the sleeping giants. Oftentimes we don't see more of them. As much as you say, the stadium is filled, but there are still some fans who are diehard fans of Shooting Stars. That at the point we're no longer interested. We saw some of them yesterday saying, "Look, this season we are here with you," and that's a big statement. They were not there to display the trophy they won, which I know is not even available. But the truth is, they were there to display. They were there to display. They were there to display what they have in stock for the season. For the season, and one of that is the fact that the flags were there. They were even giving out flags for free to people. Look, you have to take this. Bring this to the stadium by weekend. We want to see you there with us. And I think it is really interesting to see that happen. And we do hope that by the next time, Shooting Stars will be going out on a parade. Will be with a trophy. They almost had a trophy, just that they fluffed their lines towards the end of the cup competition last season. So I do hope that come the end of the season, there will be something to celebrate in the real sense of it.
All right, for you, Fola, is this a driving tool for victory against Bayelsa United? Come the weekend at home at Lake Salami Stadium. Yeah.
Well, okay. Should I say as a supporter of the Oluyole Warriors? What should I say? Okay, yes.
It is a driving tool for them to see how they can pick up.
It is because as he said, people that he thought that were not supporters of the club. They came out in mass. You understand? So definitely, this season shows a different level for the Oluyole Warriors, for Shooting Stars. This season, it shows a different level of support that is going to come for the Shooting Stars. So definitely, it's going to encourage and it's going to build the morale of the footballers.
The footballers. All right. Come on. I'm sure we can keep talking about the Shooting Stars on and on and on. But right now, it's a new dawn. It's a new era. And they're unveiling a new jersey. Let's watch this clip from Shooting Stars and let's get a feel of the jersey for next season. All right, yes, that's the new jersey that we are going to be putting on, supporting the Oluyole Warriors Shooting Stars this season. Wonderful jersey, being displayed, and I'm sure you want to get one for yourself for supporting Shooting Stars. But come on, Samson, how do you see that video and also the jersey going for? I just hope you don't talk about a new brand sponsor yet, because it's just an unveiling jersey.
Well, it's just an unveiling, and well, if there was a sponsor, I know by now when the jersey is to be unveiled, it will be there. Yeah. But as it is not there, we are not pinning the blame on 3SC just yet. I think the current resurgence we are seeing in 3SC is still taking shape. It is not there yet, and we still believe that they can actually do much more than we are seeing now. Yeah. I mean, this is not what you would have seen a year ago at Shooting Stars. So it tells you that in just 2 months, we have seen what we have not seen in the last maybe 20, 30 years for Shooting Stars. Let's say when branding actually came into football.
If you talk about branding.
So the kind of things we are seeing right now, I think it's down to the creativity of the people who are now in charge. They are youthful-minded. They understand branding. They understand what it means to be, at a particular sport when you have been given a responsibility. And I think the team behind, PR, branding, and of course, what we currently see as Shooting Stars, I think they are, to an extent, they are doing their job. No matter how much you want to criticize this content, I mean, the fact that they are churning out content back to back for the club, which other teams in Europe are doing on a regular basis, I think it is top-notch. Now, after we have been seeing them dropping content back to back, we will now see the improvement in quality of the kind of content they will be dropping. And I think this is just way better than what we saw when they started. It means that the level of creativity is increasing.
It's shaping up.
That a time will come that Shooting Stars will compete with other teams around the world when it comes to branding and PR. So this is wonderful. The jersey is totally different from what we had last season. Interestingly, it's a design that is carved out of, I think there's an explanation for this design. And I don't want to do that on their behalf. I do hope that when the team manager, or the sporting director comes around, they will be able to say, this is because every football team, when the jersey is to be released, there's a story, there's a background story behind why we are choosing this. Even a goalkeeper will choose a different color for another season and say, this is why I'm choosing this color. So there is always a background story for everything that is done. We don't just take decisions because, let's just create something for us. No, they are creating, there was a jersey Milan actually used, I think that was 2 seasons ago. There was off-white at the chest, and the shoulder actually had their actual colors. It was because a jersey was spotted, and that jersey was about 30 years old. It was more or less like a rag that was spotted in, I think, Sudan or thereabout. And then a photographer took that picture. They saw that picture and said, bring that jersey to the Milan Museum. We want to see that jersey. So it was recreated for the next season. So we want to see that there should be background stories. And also what must stop is the fact that Nigerian coaches, after a game, probably they won, lost or draw, they'll come and say, we thank God for today's. No, we know that you thanked God before you came for the game. And we know you still thank God after the game. Give all the technical breakdown of what you did on the field of play. What are the substitutions you made? What are the tactical input of the players you brought on board? We want to see these technicalities in our football. And I think we are getting there. And we'll still do better.
All right. We hope that Shooting Stars will do better come next season. Moving away from that, let's look at another unveiling jersey from the Oga Boys, Ikorodu City, and we spoke about them having sponsors, and it looks like multiple sponsors on the jersey. Let's have that picture being displayed on the screen, where we have Ikorodu City season. They have the home jersey and they have the away jersey. Beautiful piece of design right there, and they also have the meaning of why they have this on their jersey. Ikorodu Boys are having to have this beautiful piece of jersey for themselves come next season, and you can see multiple brands sponsor on that jersey. That's to show the process of value for Ikorodu City and how far they have been able to live up to expectations for the season to come. Moving away from that, let's take story from Barua FC, the newly promoted side, where Kano government has approved the Barua FC to use Sani Abacha Stadium as the club temporary home ground for the upcoming MPFL season. According to the club media director Ahmed Guale, the approval was reached following a closed-door meeting on Tuesday. That's the update we are getting from the Kano government giving approval for Barua FC to use the Sani Abacha Stadium. Something this for them, a big feat for Barua FC?
Well, I think, you know, there is a standard that there are games, if you are playing the NPFL, you can use a certain stadium. So automatically, if you want to play in the NPFL and you have qualified, you look for a stadium, even if it is far away from home, you just have to present a stadium that, you know, when you know, opposing teams come to play, they can also enjoy, you know, their play. You will not be that you'll be the only one favored by your kind of vision, because you are used to it. So these are things we are looking at, and I know for sure that Barau FC, the chairman, also Senator Barau Jibrin, will be looking at how they can make their own, just like Remo Stars is doing. They are currently renovating and then they are using MKO Abiola Stadium to execute their first set of games this season, and that's exactly the same thing that will happen with Barau FC. They probably are looking at you know, upgrading their stadium, and then while that is being done, they need Sani Abacha Stadium to actually execute their home games. We have seen this happen, though this. I think we are at a stage where we are trying to make some changes to the status quo. In Europe, you hardly see this kind of thing. Let's say, for example, Real Madrid will have an issue with you know, Santiago Bernabeu. They are going to their training pitch to play, and their training pitch is still qualified to host La Liga games. So these are things we want to see. The standard is there. So we do hope that you know, in the next few years, let's say the time frame of maybe 10 years, teams who play in the NPFL will have their own stadium. When you have your own stadium, you are indirectly, you know, creating employment for people, because you have ground managers, you know, so there are so many curators will be there. So you have people you have employed. Automatically, you know that if you are paying so much to members of staff, automatically you must look for brands to sponsor you. Look at what happened with Ikorodu City now, about 3 or 4 different brands. That's what I was saying. That are you saying there is no brand? One that will sponsor your shirt? If you are not getting brands for other things, just one for your shirt to be in front of your shirt, no matter, even if it's going to be on a barter arrangement. Supply our players launch for the whole season, and then
we'll give you the,
that's branding. You see, until you go out there and talk to people, nobody is coming for you.
Nobody's coming
so you have to find someone that will do that job for you. And I think going forward, talking about the stadium again, there are stadiums in Europe that have been renamed to the name of brands. Brand you know, is getting the naming rights for this stadium for the next 5 years, and that is money. They have raked in money. It's not, see, there's so much to do, and I believe we are getting there. The time is here, and we are already seeing the changes. We don't want to rush them, but we know that we have consistently said it, and we are seeing teams who are already taking the advice, and moving forward, I know we will do better than this.
All right. Moving forward, we hope that we'll do better than these, and I think we're giving them, I don't want to give them 10 years span, I want to give them 5 years to look for the improvement, and let's hope that NPFL can get on the bigger stage of things. Let's move away from that, still on the local front at this wonderful morning, where we have a Solution FC gaffer. Ezema confirms appointment as Golden Eaglet assistant coach. Gabriel Ezema, head coach of Solution FC, a second-tier league side, has confirmed his latest appointment by the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, as assistant coach of the under-17 national team, Golden Eaglet. And I quote, yes, that is true. You're right, and I thank God for everything. The young tactician responded when he spoke on a Monday. Ezema arrived at Solution FC last time and masterminded at the NNL club near top finish in the Southern Conference A campaign. He previously had a manager spell at Sporting Lagos, and before a move to Kano Pillars. Ezema will assist Mano Gaba in hoping that Nigeria under-17 football has to prepare for the 2026 CAF under-17 AFCON qualifications, and will eye a firmly seat at Qatar 2026 at the under-17 World Cup final. This is another move, having another, a local coach having to assist, Manu Gaba at the forefront of things. How do you see this one for Solution FC gaffer? I'm talking about Ezema Gabriel going forward for the under-17 Golden Eaglets.
It shows an improvement in our sports, in our football. Yeah, it shows that we're making an effort to include ourselves, and that complex of if I have to bring a foreigner before I can get the result. that is changing, and that's an encouragement, that's an improvement to our sports.
For you, Samson, looking at what he has done, he was Sporting Lagos, moved to Kano Pillars, almost taking Solution FC back into, the MPFL. Do you think this is a good fit, for him with the Golden Eaglets job, and how far do you think these two can work together to bring result for Golden Eaglets?
I think, Ezema has been around for some time.
Yeah.
His record is there with Ikorodu City, and of course Solutions last season. What he did, he almost got them a ticket to play in the top tier. But he's going to be working with a coach who also has a proven track record. When we talk about Manu Garba, he has been around for a long time. He knows his onions. When we talk about quality and beautiful football, Manu Garba is one of the coaches who you call from the under 17. He knows age. When you talk about age grade football, Manu Garba is one of the top coaches we talk to in Nigeria. You really want quality, and of course, he's one of the coaches that I would say one of the fearless coaches when it comes to selection of players. He doesn't compromise. If he needs quality players, he goes for them. And it's about, when you play in the lower league in Nigeria, you are definitely working with young players. So it shows that they know exactly why they are bringing them on board. And, working with Manu Garba is going to add to his own experience too as a coach. And of course, working hand in hand with such a coach gives you the edge. So when it's time for you to get top quality jobs, they know, oh, he has worked with so person. So it's one way is bringing his technical know-how and of course his knowledge to the under 17 team, and most definitely is also building a CV because for you to, among all the coaches we have in Nigeria, for you to call on a coach like you know exactly what is bringing on board. You don't just pick a coach, you look at the quality of play. What does he know?
What does he know?
What is he bringing on the table? And when you look at the Nigerian under 17 team, no apologies to every other team that we have, other age grade groups. When you look at them holistically in the last 20 years, you see that when they play with intent. There is quality in their play, probably because they are young, but the fact that they are, you call them the best set of group of people you want to see.
Honestly, I would love to mention names. We can keep mentioning
every Nigerian you want to see the likes of all the players. And then when you look at the coaches that have been there, you realize the fact that no, these are coaches that know exactly what it means to be at that particular category. You need a grassroots coach to undo a grassroots team, and that's the beginning of Nigerian football under 17. That's for me is the acceptable lowest. That's where you breed the next set of leaders, and we have seen in recent years that some of these players have graduated to eventually play in the national team. The likes of John Obi Mikel, they have been there. Haruna Lukman, they have been there. See, these are players who eventually graduate to play for the Super Eagles, and going forward, I know that these two can actually work together. Manu Garba is one coach that is open-minded. If you give him an advice and it feels like it aligns with his own style of play, he's definitely going to take it. So let's see how that pans out. And I know that the next set of under 17 players, they are going to be top quality.
All right, yes, sir. And trust me, if you're watching right now, you can pick 6-7 players from the under 17 who have gone on to do something fantastic in their career and also for the national team in a big phase. Also moving away from that, let's look at the local front also this morning, where Remo Stars are in the news with a new signing. Yes, sir, they got a new signing that has been displayed. It's a 2-year deal. Jerome Bonu also in the stride for Remo Stars for next season. Having a 2-year deal, the defensive midfielder joins from Association Omni Sport right there from the Atlantic for Remo Stars. It's a big one for him. Let's see how far he can go for Remo Stars, the defensive midfielder. And it looks like Remo Stars, I can understand, it's actually very, very technical signing because they're in a big phase going into the CAF Champions League. So it looks like they are signing key technical players that have played right now. They have 3 new signings that have played in Tanzania, 1 in Rwanda, another one again, from the Atlantic, another side of the country. Right now is in the locker. So they are building the frame together. I think they have the vast experience of how to play this football. Come together with us. Let's see how far you can go, and let's build. Even if we the owner of Remo Stars said it doesn't guarantee Nigerian teams doing great things, in competitions like this. But I think the idea is trying to breed in, is giving so much sense in this.
Well, when you look at the science Remo Stars has been making, you understand the fact that you know, that team is not just a team.
Yeah.
That team is more or less like a model for
other
teams in the MPFL. And the reason I'm saying that is the fact that you, as a team, have you done your honest assessment of your team? What exactly do we need? And if you look at their performance recently on, you know, outside the country, you will know that they already know that they need to, you know, shore up that team and bring in experienced players. It's one thing to have quality players. It's another thing for them to be able to function when they get to that stage. And this is the time for them to do it. Even when the coach is not really around, they have been making some changes. Majority of their, you know, star players are not even around. They are outside the country, but they have been able to bring in a new set of players. Before the season, you know, kick starts, they will be all together. Well, unfortunately, the team crashed out of the competition, so they will have all their players back in less than 2 days or thereabouts. They will back in training, and then they will be able to gel and see, oh, who is the player that's going to start, who is coming from the bench, and what are the players that will be converted to play in other positions so that the team can function well. The likes of Sikiru Alimi are still very much away. Even for Shooting Stars, Mustafa Lawal, Spider is still away, and I think they should be back today or thereabouts, so they will join the team. And then going forward, you have to make strategic signings. We made mention of Manchester United, for example. They knew they needed a striker, they went for Sesko. They knew they needed an attacking midfielder, they went for Kuya. They knew they needed a defender, they went. You see, that's how you sign players. If you don't do it, if you are thinking, oh, we should be able to manage, you don't manage. If you want to compete,
if you want to compete,
you want to compete, you don't manage. You bring in the best set of players that you know that, oh, in this position, if you are counting about 12-5, this person should be there. Look at Liverpool too. They knew what they wanted. They knew some players that left, and you know, may so rest in peace, Diogo Jota, who passed away. They needed to replace it, and went for players that can actually fill, you know, those places. That is how you do it. I've been seeing some teams also recruiting, and I'm asking myself questions. Is that what exactly you need at this point? In the MPFL, for example? Look at Remo Stars. They knew, oh, we need an experienced midfielder. He's here already. They needed an experienced striker.
They brought back.
These are key positions. These are Victor Mbama came back. So these are positions where they know, oh, at least one person in one position that will make a difference when we need them. So just like Remo Stars has done, what are other teams doing? For example, Kwara United will be playing on the continent.
On the continent,
What exactly is Kwara United doing?
What are you doing actually?
It's one thing to sign 12 players.
That
will not amount to one.
That cannot produce 10 goals. Come on. So what are we saying?
We have seen strikers in the MPFL after the season, even for Shooting Stars at the point. After a whole season, they will say, oh, he scored 4 goals.
Wow.
How
now?
This was a regular starter of the team. I don't want to mention names, but I know Shooting Stars paraded some strikers at the point that I was asking myself, are you even a striker?
Come on.
I mean, Okachi, for example, I said I don't want to mention. Last season, last season, Okachi was there. How many goals did Okachi score? So he came on board, and then boom, so this started firing, and the coach knew, see, if I don't want to, you know, incur the wrath of you know, the team and of course the fans, I have to play this player. That's why Ibrahim Sadiq started playing. So you look at the team, sometimes the coach will rotate and you ask yourself, is this player not fit? And eventually you find that player on the bench. Why are you changing your winning team? But then that is African football. I do hope that we start you know, imbibing some cultures of you know, proper selection. When it's one thing to be able to buy the right set of players. It's another thing for you to do the right selection. That is why I get headache when they say a team has signed 12 players as one. They have signed 13, 15, as much as 15. A team released 22 players. So when you now have, and we are about 4 or 5 days to the new season.
To today's season.
So if you are signing 22 players at once, how do you want to perform in the next season? I don't understand.
It's a rocket science.
Let's just keep our fingers crossed. I do hope that this is going to be a very intense NPFL season.
Yeah, it is.
Just like we have seen in the first game of the EPL.
And the Spanish La Liga, so all leagues.
Everywhere, there is no big team. if you have not gotten the right set of players, you have not gotten it, and of course you are going to suffer for it in this season. Nobody respects a team because you are Manchester United, you are shooting stars. Nobody does that anymore. If you don't have it, you don't have it.
We will watch you, and it's what we are looking forward to this season, and we hope that the MPFL can give us that entertaining football, that drama, mouth-watering goals, wavering support from the fans come next season. Talking about support, yes, most Nigerians did not watch the game of the Chan Eagles, but we are going to give you the result. The game ended 2-0. Yes, Eric Shell's side that were able to salvage pride right there in the Chan competition. The game ended 2-0 against Congo. Yes, against Congo, Anas Yusuf and also Sikiru Alimi getting the goals for the Chan Eagles. Also, Sudan and Senegal also played out a goalless draw. But let me inform you that result, even if we had scored 10 goals, would not take us anywhere at the Chan competition, because we're out of the Chan competition. But at least we were able to salvage our pride and get a win actually for the Chan Eagles. Fala, I know it's not a good one for you, but going forward, what must be done, to have this not been repeated again in such competitions?
He needs to mix them up. He cannot just pick okay.
So now hold on. It might not be Shells in the position again, but generally the people selecting these players, the management, what do they need to do going forward? In such situations.
It can't just be one team anymore. You have to mix them up. The same way it was saying that you pick a striker that wasn't producing goals. You brought in a striker that now started producing goals. Yeah. You understand? So definitely, the next time we're going to do something like this, we have to mix them up. We cannot just say, okay, Remo Stars, okay, they are good, okay, we'll use them. No, you have to mix them. You have to bring somebody from another team that that, okay, yes, he too can produce goals. We have to mix them up next time. We have to mix them up. You cannot just pick one team. And if it's one team that you're going to pick, are you sure that those people are going to do it well? Are you sure they're going to produce results? That's just it. You cannot. So now, when they come back home, we're going to start mocking them. And because I am going to mock them. I am so going to mock them. Because come on now, jeez. Remo, we expected much from them.
Honestly speaking, I know we expected more from the Chan Eagles, but it is what it is. I think we just need to go back to the drawing board and set things right again. And let's see how far we can go in such competitions. Imagine us, sitting down here to say, it looks like the team representing us in the CAF, championship right there are going to struggle, and we don't want to hear that, because we have quality players right here in Nigeria. Moving away from the Chan Eagles, we also have chat over the draws for the quarterfinal stage, if that can also be displayed on the screen to have the fans see right there. We have Kenya through to the quarterfinal stage. They're going to have that against Madagascar. We have Sudan against Algeria. We have Tanzania against Morocco. We have Uganda against Senegal. Those are the face right there for the quarterfinal stage. And trust me, all the teams hosting this competition are in the quarterfinal stage, and we hope that they can also be part of the semi-final stage to see how that one pans out right there for Chan. All right, moving away from that, let's talk basketball, where we have the Tigers in action today against a big team. Yes, the Tigers are going to be in action, and they're going to have that one against Senegal. Trust me, for me, I don't want to see it as a dead rubber game because, we have done fantastic in the group stage, and right now it's against Senegal. How does this one pan out for us?
Well, this is going to be their biggest test yet in the competition.
But actually, Senegal struggled. Honestly, they have been struggling. Even for them to get to this stage, they had to play, another game for them to get to this stage. So they didn't have it easy.
Yeah, I know, and that's now you measure, quality when it comes to competitions. I think I once mentioned that some teams will have it rough in the beginning, and then before you know it, they are there.
They're up again.
I can remember vividly Euro 2000 when Greece defeated Portugal 1-0, and then they started winning 1-0, and people were like, oh, they thought they were going to get tired until they repeated the same thing they did in the first game, in the last game of the competition, and they won the trophy. So it's always like that when some teams don't really start well, but you know, when to get to a stage where we just feel like, oh, let's just switch the gear and then do better than we are doing. Don't forget that when a team, you know, plays against Nigeria, regardless of what competition, they are always extra prepared.
Actually,
because it's going to be it's not going to be,
it's a war.
Yeah, it's not going to be a cakewalk like you know, they do have it against other teams.
That's true.
And they don't want to give in so easily. So they are always having in their head, oh, we are playing the Giants of Africa. Automatically, we must show them that we are not. We can't. They can't just walk over us like that. So Senegal, they have struggled, but I don't think they will struggle against Nigeria. It's going to be keenly contested, and then I feel Nigeria will win. But then, just like it has been close so far in the last 3 games they have had in this competition against Madagascar, against Tunisia, and of course Cameroon. I know for sure that it's going to be a little bit difficult. But then we have always spoken about you know, the how the team actually blends, and that's the individual brilliance we have seen in these players so far, since this competition started. So if they switch to gear, and of course the individual brilliance plays out, I think they are going to have it easy. But if they are playing like, oh, let's just get this over with, they might just struggle against Senegal. And you will think, oh, but Senegal is not good. But then what about the will of these Nigerian players to actually you know, put in extra effort to win this game? You don't relax now because you feel, oh, we think we are better in this competition, so we can relax a little bit. No, this is not the time to take your legs off the pedal. This is the time to actually press harder. And of course, achieve it. But I feel like they are going to, you know, walk away with a victory in this game.
Yeah, for you, Fola, looking at this game for the Tigers, do you see us, you know, edging out easily, or is it going to be a difficult one? And you know, what must be done to get victory against the Senegal?
I won't say easily, but like I said, Senegal is not a pushover. Okay, yes, they struggled, yes, but Nigeria too has to work. I actually think Nigeria is going to win also, but it's not going to be just an easy win. But I actually think Nigeria, with the way they've played so far, I actually am encouraged. I'm encouraged.
Remain constant, you know, have a full concentration in this game and not lose focus. I think that will give us this one against Senegal. Remember, it's going to happen by 7 p.m. So make sure you are rooting for the Tigers right there. Remember, it's just one. We just won it once against, and that was in Angola. I mean, that was against Angola. Right now, we're playing in Angola. Let's see how we can pick up this one for the second time. Moving away from that, let's talk at the PFA. We're heading straight down to European, where we have the PFA that was hosted yesterday. Mohamed Salah, picked up another. He picked up the PFA Player of the Year award, having to be the only player to win it at 3 consecutive times. That's what we have. Salah having to win it right there, and a wonderful feat for Liverpool. Mohamed Salah, I think, in contention, we would have won it for you, because if you look at the nominees, we have Bruno Fernandes there, Cole Palmer. Do you think he deserves this?
Well, I think Mo Salah deserves it. One thing they look for when we talk about player of the season is the fact that the consistency. Before you did it this season, have you been doing it before? So it's quite important to know that, so that you don't become a one-season wonder. I'm not saying if you have performed one season you cannot win. I'm just saying that when they now have to pick from, you know, a lot of players, they are going to consider your consistency with it. Oh, have you always been like this? So it shows that for you to be, it's one thing to do it once, it's another thing to be able to do it back to back. And Salah, for God knows how long he has been a Liverpool player, he has, you know, been a shining light. He has been exceptional under Jurgen Klopp, and of course when Ancelotti came on board, his influence in the team has not waned. So it tells you that there is something about Mo Salah that people are not saying. I mean, I for one at the point said he's not getting the kind of recognition he deserves in that team. He has been so consistent. He's one that kind of you know, forward. He's not even a striker. He plays by the side. He's that kind of player that will be on the field of play that will get you double digits of assists and goals every season, back to back. And he has always been a 20-goal player every season. It can be more than that, but never been less in the last 5 years. So he has been consistent. And when you talk about assists too, he's one of the biggest creative fulcrum you will find in that Liverpool team. As much as
even in the Premier League.
Yeah, as much as he scores, he creates.
Yeah.
So his influence or his presence on the field of play is a problem for the opposition because they know that no matter if he's silent for 89 minutes, he can 1 minute of individual brilliance can just make the difference.
He did at the beginning of the season.
So 1 minute he was there and nobody thought.
And
when he decided to do his thing,
and he did it.
And the consistency of scoring, he has. I think for now he has he's the highest goal scorer when it comes to opening day of the year.
Yes, it's 10 goals now.
He has 10 goals already. So this is a player that is not getting the kind, probably because he's African, and I don't want to put it that way because that will amount to racism.
Okay, so okay, so now my question now is, do you think he has a shot for the Ballon d'Or? Do you think he has a shot?
I think for a long time, Mo Salah should have been at least in the top 20 players, in the world. At least, if not in the top 10, he should be in the top 15. But the truth of the matter is, what happens with Ballon d'Or is not decided by one person or a group of people.
Yes.
Ballon d'Or is decided by everyone actively involved in the game of football. So it's a voting process. And teams also play an important role in how their players fare when it comes to Ballon d'Or voting. So if you don't have enough PR, automatically your player will not get the look. Look at what Real Madrid and Barcelona does when they know that they have a player that stands the chance of winning. The PR is always massive, there. You see advertisement indirectly, more or less like they are campaigning for the player. But you'll be seeing blogs will be talking about that player back to back, talking about his achievement.
Massively.
But players, teams like Liverpool, Chelsea, they have a player that is outstanding, but nobody is saying anything. The feels will come to them on the platter. I think English teams have been found wanting in that area for a long time. That's why you rarely see English-based players winning the Ballon d'Or. Not because they don't have players who are capable or qualified to win it, but because they are not doing what they. So when their counterparts in other leagues have done almost the same thing, or even a little bit less than what they have done, you see them getting the look in. The only thing that happened when Ronaldo won at Manchester United was because there was no way you would underplay what Ronaldo did
with Manchester United.
There was no way.
You can't rob it.
You can't rob it. There's no way. So it became apparent that Ronaldo was going to win even before they announced that Cristiano Ronaldo was going to win this.
The same thing they did also. When I'm actually speaking about PR now. Our PR was massive. With the Ribery situation. We can go on and on to say Ribery deserved to have won that. But you saw the massive PR that stole off. He did that massively.
So now the point I want to make now before I leave this is that if Cristiano Ronaldo had remained at Manchester United and was still scoring 40 goals a season like he was doing at Real Madrid. That was the only Ballon d'Or he was going to win. Because at that time, Messi was constantly doing fine. It was intense competition for around 12 years. Those guys were top 2 in the world. Back to back. If it's not Messi, it's Ronaldo. For the first time in a long time, in about 14 or 15 years, we are having none of these players.
We're done now. It looks like we're done with Ronaldo and Messi now. It looks like we're done.
That signals the end of an era. But
actually.
I just feel like some players really deserve the kind of recognition they deserve. And Mo Salah is one of them. As long as I'm not, really a Liverpool kind of, it's not like I watch Liverpool that much. Even it's not like I watch Manchester United that much. But when I see that this is top quality, look at what Cunha did in the first game of the season. We cannot but talk about it on this show. So if a player is doing really fine or a team is doing really fine, we have to talk about it. So you recognize quality when you see one. And I think Mo Salah, for example, deserves a shot, at the Ballon d'Or this season.
All right, yes. Also, Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa also picking up another one for himself, the PFA Young Player of the Year. Morgan Rogers also having that for himself. He picked up, the Young Player of the Year. Moving away from that, let's look at the team. Of the year at the PFA. Yes, we have Matt Sells of Nottingham Forest. We have Virgil van Dijk. We have Milo Kekers. We have William Saliba. We have Gabriel Magalhaes. We have Declan Rice. We have Ryan Gravenberch. We have Alexis McAllister. We have Mohamed Salah, Alexander Isak, and Chris Wood. For you, Fala, this PFA Team of the Year, well deserved for these players?
Well, it's well deserved for this players.
Or for you, who would you have, replaced in this team? For you.
I would actually put Bruno Fernandes in the midfield.
In place of McAllister?
Yes.
Okay,
in my own
your own opinion, but aside from that, this is a fantastic team.
Yeah, it is a wonderful team. If they're all together, it would be a good team. But
Marseille's ahead of Raya for you? Not taking anything away from what Marseille did with Nottingham Forest, but you know, do you think he had a nod against David Raya?
I think so.
You think so? All right. For you, captain.
I think I'm quite, not comfortable with the team.
Okay.
When you look at some players actually had, a wonderful season last season, and they are not getting the look in. I don't. Alexis McAllister for me or Ryan Gravenberch, they are in this team because they won the league.
Okay.
And that should not be the only reason why a player is nominated for the team of the season. And I feel like a player like Moises Caicedo, is not getting the kind of recognition he deserves. Even Enzo Fernandez was everywhere last season, scoring some goals.
If
and of course
providing assists. I think Moises Caicedo
should be in this team. Yeah. Of course, if you look at the attack too, I don't think, Chris Wood did exceptionally well for Nottingham Forest last season. But where is Cole Palmer? Cole Palmer is, for the last 2 seasons, has been, the shining light for Chelsea. He has been there. He was instrumental in how Chelsea eventually qualified for the UEFA Champions League last season. And of course, was there how Chelsea actually did some other things just after the season, even in Europe. So I think he should be given the opportunity in this team. So if Alexis McAllister is there, Mo Salah no doubt deserves to be there. Declan Rice was instrumental for Arsenal, was rock solid in midfield. And when we talk about in the goalkeeping department too, they have not made a mistake. But Kekes now with Liverpool, he shows that he did something last season that made him get that kind of transfer. True. So I just want to believe that in midfield, probably a better choice with Kopama or Moise Caicedo in this team. Yeah.
All right, let's move away from the team of the year. You can have your own, opinion in the comment section. Just drop it for us. Let's see what you think about the team of the year, and also what you think should be replaced in that team. Moving away from that, let's talk issues surrounding Alexandra Isak at this point in time, and it's not looking too good. We just have a few minutes to go, but we're going to discuss that. And it came on his page on Instagram, and he has so much to say. And he said, and I quote, "I am proud to be recognized by the fellow professionals with a place in the PFA prayer of the team season. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammate and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me all along the way. I am not at the ceremony tonight with everything going on, and it did not feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. The silence has allowed people to push their own vision of the event, and even though they know it does not reflect what really was said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made, and the club know my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That is where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself." Alexandra Isak.
Well, when you look at what he said, I think this happens often when a player says, "Oh, I'm signing for you, but if a bigger team comes in the next 2 years, I'm definitely going to leave." So you have to understand that now before I sign, before I put pen to paper. And I think that's exactly what Alexander Isak is trying to say to you. He just doesn't want to say it aloud so that people will not,
the promise. There's a problem. We have yes.
And when a big team comes, Liverpool is here. Let me go, because I told you this even before I signed. Yeah. So if you remember, even before he went to Newcastle United, he had a shot at other big teams, just that they could not, tidy the deal on time before. Eventually opted for Newcastle United because he just wanted to leave Real Sociedad at the time. So at this time, I feel Newcastle United should just keep their promise, because one, there's no point keeping a player who is not, motivated to be in the team. There's no point keeping a player that, the next thing he's thinking about is, let's the season just finish, let me just walk away. And players have a time frame for things that happen to them. Alexander Isak is no longer younger, as people want to call it. This is the time for him to make that switch, a transition to a bigger team, play for a top club, because he just might not get that shot again. We have seen players who actually hesitated in taking some decisions, but eventually they did not get to make that move again. True. I would take, for instance, Victor Osimhen. you know, struggling to get a big team, eventually had to settle for Galatasaray in Turkey. If he had made, you know, that switch a long time, we probably would not be having this kind of conversation. Look at Wilfred Ndidi was at Leicester City for 4 or 5 consecutive years. He was having offers. What kept him at Leicester City, we don't know. But as of now, I don't think a Manchester United will go for Wilfred Ndidi or an Arsenal will sign Wilfred Ndidi. So I think that is over. So there's a time. Every player has a time for if you are 25 or 26 and you cannot sign for get that deal done. Might be difficult.
But I can understand the promises are being kept because we've got a few minutes to go. But Newcastle have responded to that statement, and they are saying we are disappointed to have alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak as at yesterday. We are clear in the response that Alex remains under contract, and no comment have been made by club official that Alex can leave Newcastle this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we understand players have their own wishes and will listen to their views. As explained to Alex and representative, we must always take into consideration the best interest of Newcastle United, the team or our supporters in all. Decisions and when we have been clear the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he's ready to rejoin his teammates. Fola. So it's back and forth right now. So
but they're acting as if they don't know what is going on. So that's not fair to the player.
Honestly, man.
That's not fair to the player. They shouldn't act like, okay, we don't know.
That would be the role of his agent. I think he has an agent. The agent should be the one to strike that out. Sometimes when you have resentments against a contract you are being given, I think you should make it known while signing the contract, even before you sign the contract. Look, this is particular clause. Put it in.
So I think
what he's trying to talk about is verbal. It's verbal because if it is on his paper,
if it's on paper, bring it out and let's see it. By now, I'm just sorted out. But if it's verbal, come on, man. We don't run verbal yet. We run a document. All right, the Sported family. That's all we can take this morning on the show. Our time is fast spent, but let me thank the crew and also the producers for making Dominion Sport a massive tool for everyone to listen to every day on Dominion Television. Thank you so much, Fola, for coming on the show. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to be here again tomorrow to talk sport from the local stories to the European scene, back-to-back action for you. I remain a big Paul to the money. Make sure you enjoy yourself and stay blessed. Bye for now.